This is the drone wall, a single operator, a drone that costs $400, and a tank worth $4.5 million that never saw it coming. Ukraine built an invisible barrier across 250 miles of front line, not from concrete, not from steel, but from cheap quadcopters, fiber-optic cables, and operators sitting in basements wearing headsets. So how does it actually work? In this video, we're going to break that down. How 3 different types of drones each control a different layer of the battlefield, how a target can be spotted and destroyed in under 90 seconds, and how Russia has tried to break through and failed. To understand the drone wall, you first need to understand the 3 types of drones that make it function. The first is the reconnaissance drone. These are small, quiet, and cheap. Most of them are commercial quadcopters modified for military use. Their only job is to see. They fly above the battlefield and feed live video to operators on the ground, building a real-time picture of where enemy forces are moving, where vehicles are staged, and where soldiers are hiding. Without the recon drone, nothing else in this system works. It is the eye of the entire operation. The second type is the FPV strike drone. FPV stands for first-person view. The operator wears a headset and sees exactly what the drone sees, flying it like a missile directly into the target. These drones are small enough to fit in a backpack. They cost between $400 and $500 to build. They carry a warhead typically weighing between 2 and 7 pounds, enough to destroy a vehicle, kill crew inside a building, or disable artillery. More than 2/3 of all Russian tanks destroyed in Ukraine in recent months were taken out by FPV drones. Not artillery, not anti-tank missiles. Drones costing a few $100s. Ukraine is currently producing over 200,000 FPV drones per month. That is more tanks than Russia builds in a year. The third type is the loitering munition, sometimes called a kamikaze drone. Unlike the FPV, which is flown at high speed directly into a target, the loitering munition circles an area, waiting. It can stay in the air for hours, hunting for the right moment. When the target appears, it dives. Russia uses its own version of this, the Shahed drone, originally developed in Iran. Ukraine uses domestically produced variants. Both sides have learned that a loitering munition over a road can make that road effectively impassable for hours without a single soldier present. These 3 types, recon, FPV strike, and loitering munition, form the basic toolkit. The drone wall is what happens when you layer all 3 across the entire front line in depth. Here's what that actually looks like on the ground. Imagine a line running across eastern Ukraine where Russian and Ukrainian forces face each other. Now imagine 3 invisible zones extending eastward from that line, each one more dangerous than the last. The first zone runs from the contact line back roughly 3 miles. This is the close fight. FPV drones operate here constantly, targeting infantry movement, trench positions, and any vehicle that tries to advance. The density of drones in this zone is extraordinary. By 2025, Ukrainian forces were deploying over 20 FPV drones per mile of frontage every single day. Moving into this zone without drone cover is effectively suicide. Russian assault groups have been filmed being tracked from the moment they leave their positions, followed across open ground, and struck before they ever reach Ukrainian lines. The second zone extends from 3 to roughly 9 miles behind the contact line. This is where artillery lives, where reinforcements stage, where supply trucks move. Recon drones map everything in this zone continuously. Loitering munitions hunt vehicles on roads. Anything that moves is tracked, identified, and either struck immediately or logged for a follow-up strike. The third zone is the deep strike layer. By 2025, Ukraine had pushed its effective drone reach to 25 miles from the front line. This is where command posts sit, where fuel depots are hidden, where reserve units rest. Drones with fiber-optic cable guidance, immune to jamming, are increasingly used here because radio signals can be disrupted, but a physical cable cannot. Together, these 3 zones create what military analysts now call the kill zone. A 25-mile belt of territory where moving without being seen is nearly impossible, and being seen is almost always fatal. This is the drone wall. Not a wall you can see. A wall made of sensors and explosives and operators sitting in basements wearing headsets. None of this works without a fast and efficient kill chain. A kill chain is the sequence of steps between identifying a target and destroying it. In traditional warfare, that chain is long. A spotter sees a tank, calls it in by radio, coordinates are passed to an artillery battery, shells are fired, adjustments are made. This process can take 15 minutes or more. Ukraine compressed that cycle to under 90 seconds. Here is how it actually works. A recon drone spots a Russian vehicle moving along a road. The operator sends the GPS coordinates directly via an encrypted app, often a modified version of standard commercial software, to an FPV team positioned nearby. The FPV operator launches. The recon drone keeps the target in view. The FPV pilot uses the live feed from the recon drone as a top-down reference while wearing FPV goggles for the final approach. The vehicle is struck before its crew realizes they have been found. This two-drone combination, one watching from above, one delivering the strike, is now the standard operating procedure across Ukrainian drone units. It turns every vehicle on the battlefield into a potential target within 90 seconds of being spotted. The scale of this system is staggering. Ukraine's Unmanned Systems Forces, established as a separate branch of the military in 2024, logged 832,000 combat sorties and struck 168,000 targets in just their first 7 months of operation. That works out to roughly 800 targets struck every single day. Russia has not been passive. It has adapted continuously, and understanding those adaptations is essential to understanding why the war looks the way it does today. The first Russian response was electronic warfare. Russia deployed powerful jamming systems designed to sever the radio link between an FPV drone and its operator. Early in the war, this was effective. Ukrainian drones dropped out of the sky in jammed zones. Ukraine's answer was fiber-optic drones. A thin cable, sometimes stretching several miles, connects the drone to the operator. No radio signal means no jamming. The drone flies on, completely immune to electronic warfare. Russia has no reliable counter to fiber-optic guidance yet. The second Russian adaptation was Shahed saturation. Rather than sending 1 or 2 drones, Russia began launching them in swarms, sometimes 200 or more in a single night. The logic is simple. Overwhelm the defense with numbers. If you send enough, some will get through. By mid-2025, Russia was launching an average of 175 Shaheds per day, with peaks exceeding 200 per day in July. They fly at altitudes up to 13,000 feet. They approach in pairs at different heights to complicate radar tracking. The latest versions carry cameras, AI targeting modules, and improved electronics hardened against jamming. The cost of intercepting all of them is enormous. A surface-to-air missile costs many times more than a Shahed. Ukraine cannot afford to shoot missiles at every drone. So Ukraine built its own answer: interceptor drones. Small, fast FPV quadcopters, some reaching speeds above 190 miles per hour, specifically built to hunt and destroy incoming Shaheds in the air. They cost between $5,000 and $10,000 each, still several times cheaper than a Shahed. Ukraine's commander-in-chief reported that these interceptor drones achieve a 70% success rate against Shaheds, nearly twice the effectiveness of traditional mobile air defense units. In November 2025, Ukraine operationalized the first fully autonomous drone wall for air defense, built with French technology from a trade. Radar detects incoming drones. The system automatically launches interceptors. AI guides them to the target. No human in the loop. The entire intercept happens faster than a human operator could react. The implications of all of this reach far beyond Ukraine. The United States Army is rewriting its battlefield doctrine because of what has happened here. The concept of massed armor advancing across open ground, the doctrine that dominated military planning since World War II, is now considered obsolete by serious military analysts. A column of tanks costs hundreds of millions of dollars and takes years to build. A drone wall capable of stopping that column costs a fraction of that, can be assembled in weeks, and can be operated by soldiers trained in 3 weeks. What Ukraine has demonstrated is that the most dangerous thing on a modern battlefield is not the most expensive thing. It is the thing that sees without being seen, strikes without warning, and costs almost nothing to replace. The drone wall is not a Ukrainian invention that will stay in Ukraine. It is the preview of how every future conflict will be fought. The only question is who builds it first.